Hey everybody, it's Mike Sullivan with Born to Shine. Today we have a super special guest. His name is Fred Smith, and he is the assistant superintendent over at Boonville School District in Boonville, Missouri. So Fred, thanks, man. Thanks for being with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for all you do, and thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. So, right before we jumped into the podcast, you were commenting about being a baseball coach. Can you share that with us for a sec?
Well, that's what most people know me by. I've got 35 plus years in education. So 30 of that or better have been involved in baseball in some manner. So played it as a youngin. My dad taught me and all that kind of stuff, and managed to be pretty successful high school and collegiately. And then as I became a teacher and educator, I got into the coaching side of it. And so it's been a rewarding experience all the way around. But there's so many things you can take from, that daily practice and, the teamwork and putting the team ahead of the individual and the commitment that kids have to make. And my big thing was accountability to the team. And so that's always been part of that. But so, yeah, that's just one of the things. But yeah, most people call me coach, or, that's that hardcore coach, I guess you'd say. But we were pretty successful, and Boonville's a great town to have coached baseball in, man. They really love their athletics here, especially baseball.
Well, Coach, if you don't mind sharing your journey of how you got into the school district and, what your journey was like to become the assistant superintendent, because that's a big deal. That's a big responsibility.
I'll take you way back. Actually, for me, the wake-up call was in middle school. To be quite honest, both my parents are deceased now, but they went through a divorce. And I really was kind of, going through some trauma, I guess you'd say. At that time, we didn't call it that necessarily, but I reached out, or it was my middle school health physical education teacher, who was also a coach, was instrumental in helping me to become who I am today. I mean, parents did a quality job raising me, but at a low time for me, that was a person that stuck out for me. So as I got through high school and entered college, suddenly it was pretty easy for me to see that was love kids, and that was in my heart, that I wanted to be an educator and help other people become successful. So the journey for me, finished college, had a chance to play a little baseball, hurt my knee, went right into teaching and coaching. Did that for almost 20 years. Actually left Boonville at one time. I was at Boonville 98 through 2007, and I got an offer to go over to Central Methodist College, and it was now Central Methodist University, and be the head baseball coach there. Was an adjunct professor. Had a great experience there, but we won our conference title, what have you. And I got a phone call that the middle school principal job was open at the middle school in Boonville, where I had been a teacher and a coach. Didn't know if I could handle that or not, but I jumped at that opportunity because I love the community of Boonville. Like I said, it's about 8,500 people. It's more of a rural setting. To give you an idea, to our north, the Missouri River divides us and Howard County, and we're to the south called Cooper County, which we're the northern boundary that the Missouri River separates. So there's a lot of fertile ground around for the farmland and what have you, but it's a great community to raise kids. Like I said, it's large enough to give you what you need, but we're small enough where everybody still knows your name. I mean, if I, as a middle school principal, I'd be out, and there was a method to this, but people thought I was running for mayor, but I'd want to meet and greet our kids when they got off the bus. And I wanted to see, I wanted to hear some positive, especially, besides the bus driver, who's really key because of the first and last person those kids see every day. But I wanted to say hi, but it also gave me an opportunity to see if little Johnny had the same clothes on as the day before, or, someone is really sleepy, tired. I mean, there was little signs, those little hints that you knew that their day wasn't going to be quite as successful. So I would usually have a radio with me, and after they walked in the building, I'd notify somebody that we need to check on this person, and we're going to get them breakfast, or maybe spend 15-20 minutes just to de-escalate, or whatever the case may be. But it's always a neat thing that they always, people drive by and everybody's honking and waving and thinking that life is grand, but you're really doing a job and you're trying to take care of your kids. So
Man,
that middle school principal was for me. And then I was real fortunate to have the opportunity then a few years back. This is my 4th year as assistant superintendent. The job opened up, and I applied for it, and they were gracious enough to give me an opportunity, and I've learned and grown. I guess you'd say my areas now, I pretty much it's the buildings and grounds, transportation, health, safety, food service. You do a little bit of everything on a daily basis, and that's what makes us neat. be honest with you, like I still go back in and read to the pre-K kids. I've been Dr. Seuss, and I'm thinking about being Grinch here in about a week and a half, 2 weeks for a Christmas program. So we have a lot of fun, but you can't lose touch with the reality of why you're here, and that's to help serve kids. So
That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that, Fred.
yeah,
That's cool. And then have you noticed anything on a district level that's been serving and supporting your kiddos with their mental and emotional health?
sure. Well, we do several things, and that's like I said, we do a pretty good job, and we really work hard at that. We sent out surveys, especially coming off what we call post-COVID or towards the end of COVID. We sent out surveys right at the beginning of school, and I might add, we went to school last year when a lot of folks didn't. I mean, we really had to watch our numbers and do the contact tracing and all the things that were necessary, but we managed to keep our kids in school last year. And so going into this year, we knew there'd be a little different situation, and as the world has evolved, and kids have been out missing time, or they did do some stuff online, what have you. We did a survey when they came back the first 2 weeks of school. We completed those surveys to kind of give us a baseline of where we were at and what some things that stood out to us that we need to do. And so we use a second step program. For us, basically it's kindergarten through 12th grade. Not so much at the high school, but we still utilize it. But anyway, that gives us a good framework, and we try to implement that, on a weekly basis. We try to use the same terminology, so that's fluid throughout the entire life of the student that's going to school here. So that makes some things easier. And we're always working on those social emotional skills, and we want to help those kids as best we can. And like I said, we talked earlier, the trauma informed or trauma based information that we can get, things that stand out to teachers. We're constantly trying to do PD to help them recognize and be better at our jobs. And of course the discipline isn't the same on a kid of that nature either. You can say what you like, but different things work for different students, and they're in different places, and we just want to help them be better. But that second step program has been excellent for us. And we also have a tremendous relationship with Dr. Chad Rose with the University of Missouri, and he does basically it's Mizzou's bully prevention lab. They come in and also do a climate survey. They look at some kids, and so we call it tier 2 and tier 3 kids that may show up on those surveys that have some needs, and then we reach out to their families, and by using some of their graduate students, we're able to provide some special services in small group settings and help those kids move and adjust and make life better for them as well. So.
I absolutely love that. And on a personal level, Fred, I was bullied as a kid. So
Yes.
I wish we had a program like that when I was growing up. So if our listeners are interested in contacting your friend,
Sure,
how
yes.
can we get a hold of?
Sure. Well, they're welcome to contact me at Boonville Public Schools, but Dr. Chad Rose is a professor, associate professor with the University of Missouri here in Columbia, Missouri. And it will be under the special education department, but he's got a fantastic program, leading authority on the bully prevention. And a matter of fact, we've had for about 4 or 5 years now, we actually have a anti-bully coalition, the Boonville Anti-Bully Coalition. And what we did, why it's a coalition, is we went through the state of Missouri, and on the mental health side, asked for that charter to be a coalition. And so when we're doing things, especially on the mental health side, there is some funding available. We try to put on our coalition puts on typically 1 to 2 events a year, whether that be community-wide. A lot of times it will be for their community, but be hosted at a school. We've shown the ripple effect, a suicide, guy that tried to commit suicide off the Golden Gate Bridge. We showed that, had a public showing for that. People say mixed results. We probably had 60, 75 people in attendance for that, but we had one student that came up to us afterwards that had thought about suicide on that day. And how do you put a price on saving someone's life, man? I mean, and that's what he said, that it made all the difference to the world, because that's why he showed up, because he'd really been contemplating and really was at a dark place. So, but that's just one example. We've had J-line dancers out of New York City come in and do some fantastic dance routines, but also had a great message, the anti-bullying message. So we continue to grow. I've reached out to the Megan Meyer Foundation. That's probably the next one we'll utilize, and we'll have 2 programs, one probably elementary to middle school, and then one for the high school, in that regard. So we're doing a lot of things, and again, the community support's fantastic.
I love it. I don't even know what to say, Coach. That's amazing. What you're doing for your kids is incredible. I was deeply touched by the anti-bullying program you have, and bringing in outside resources, external programs too, to just really lift your kids up. So that's incredible. You're doing an amazing job.
Well, I don't know. We work at it daily. And like I said, and kids are in different places, and I'm old school. I'll tell you, to me, when I was, becoming an educator, which was at Central Methodist College at the time, it was all about, they talked about building the relationship, and I liken it to maybe us as assistant superintendents with a school board. We have to start out as, become friendly, share each other, might not have the same viewpoint, but you're willing to listen, and you grow and you build a relationship. But it takes quite a while before you build a good enough relationship that you develop the trust. And so
Right.
for so many kids, that's probably our number one problem, is we just don't have enough time to develop that deep, trusting relationship. One other program that's helped us a lot is called Communities in Schools.
Mm.
It's a nonprofit-based organization, and I'm going to botch this up, probably terribly bad, but they pretty much, they're tremendous at helping our students relate to someone at school and hearing that student, which is huge, just to have the student know someone who will listen to them. They may not be able to solve all their problems or any of them, but at least they're listening and communicating it and steering them. But the one great thing that I've seen Communities in School do is they've been great at rallying our community together so we can get resources to these kids and these families. They can hook people up that have needs. Whether it be simply, I need a ride to the store, or ride to the doctor's visit, or maybe a little bit of daycare help. Or we do care baskets. We're in that process now for the holidays of low-income families. We put together care baskets that's got soap products and cleaning products and hygiene and just toiletries, simple things that we take for granted sometimes. The toilet tissue and paper towels and toothbrush, toothpaste,
Awesome.
socks, undergarments. Some basic need things
Awesome.
that. Yeah, so we do quite a bit, and Communities in Schools has been a good partnership in that for us. So
This is great. You have so many incredible programs that are happening to support your kids. So if listeners want to reach out to you, is that okay? If we just
fantastic.
float
Yeah,
your email?
yeah. We have a community action center here as well. Audrey Phelps is doing that now. She pretty much runs the care basket piece. We just help out and get materials and deliveries and kind of set that up and coordinate with people. But yeah, reach out. I'd be glad to help anyone that would like to help. You can find me on the website at Boonville Public Schools. Email, I'll give you email, a phone number at the end of this if you like. But yeah, we're all in this together. Like I said, just trying to make better for kids.
Fred, Coach.
No,
Coach Fred Smith. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing everything that you're doing to support your community,
sure.
Kids from the entire lifespan of their education with you from K through 12, and just so grateful for what you're doing, and thank you for sharing your time with us today.
Well, thank you for having me, and bless you for doing the work that you're doing. Like I said, you're sharing this message, and say worldwide, and bottom line is we're changing lives for kids. That's what it's all about. So bless you, sir.
Man, thank you.
All right.